Hi, this is Angel Jones. I love great conversations where life's journey is communicated not only through words, but tones and emotions. Explosive expressions that allow you to feel what they felt and learned. A fool learns only from his own mistake, while the wise learn from their own and from those others have made. Thanks for being here with us. Good day, Kïrsten Blake. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And yourself?
I am excellent. It's a great pleasure to connect with you.
It's very nice to talk with you.
Same here. So tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
So I thought a lot about this one. I love the way you phrase the question, and I think it comes down to connection. So I learned about your mission and what you're trying to do through two different groups that I became a part of this past summer. And it was really in a specific effort to try to take what I do offline and connect with people more face to face. So I just really love that through that effort, all of the different types of connections that have come into play since that.
So who did you learn this skill from? In fact, let me pull back a bit. Where did the push come from for you to get out there and get into even more social networks?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So I've been working on something called Chapter B for the last 3.5 years. And I interview people who are creating their own path of being in the world. So I get a great connection with people when I do the interview, which is, an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, but it really is so limited. And what I love is actually connecting with people face to face. So there's that. And there's also something that I've realized over the last handful of years, which is that I think humans are really craving face to face connection. I think they're really looking to try to connect with each other because even though we're more connected than ever due to social media, I think as humans we're really disconnected. So I've really found this craving, and I've felt it myself, for people to really kind of connect in person. So this summer I really kind of made a commitment to that, and I went to the World Domination Summit, and I also did a fellowship called Starting Black, and really met some amazing people that not only helped me personally, but really kind of helped take Chapter B into a new space. And I'm really thinking more about that and how I can go from just online conversations to offline conversations.
Amazing undertaking there. But I love it. I love the concept. You definitely have my ears and my attention because I share the same passion where conversations occur. Yes, it's one thing. I think there are 3 grades of conversation, Kirsten. I'd say one is what we're doing here, and probably half step is texting, if it's WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or whatever you're using to text with. Probably that is half step, and then the first step is having these conversations like we're having. I think then there's a 1A where you could have a conversation via Skype, right, where you could see the person. And then there's the second step where then you get to meet someone face to face, which, as you said, is really, really, really amazing, right, in comparison to what we're doing here. Would you agree?
I definitely agree. I just think there's, to your point, I think it's amazing that we have all these ways that we can connect via technology, and that you're in Trinidad and I'm in Denver and we're having an amazing conversation. But there is some type of connection that you feel when you're face to face that you just do not get when you're having the conversation via technology.
I totally agree. And then the third step. So we've just connected face to face, where we're talking one on one, right, flesh to flesh, next to each other, right? And the third step is where you get to discuss, topics that are around business. So let's say I'm connecting you to something I'm doing in business, or you're connecting me to something, or I'm connecting you to someone who can connect you to someone who is doing business. And I think that is where the power of a conversation really gets off.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I love it when you're talking to someone and you can feel the excitement that they're having, knowing that there's some way that they can help you, and vice versa. And that, for me, I think ties back to that idea of the talent talent that brought us together is that idea of connection. And I love that. I love if I'm ever able to say, I know someone you should talk to that would help you with X, Y, and Z. There's just so much satisfaction that comes out of that type of conversation.
I agree. So have you decided if you will or will not continue to repeat this skill?
Oh, definitely. I hope it's a skill that I have for the rest of my life. It's something that, to me, I think is what makes life feel way more interesting, is when you have that human connection. And I love helping other people figure out their talents. I've never been that great at identifying and naming my own, but since working on Chapter B, a lot of people have said to me that I have a talent of being able to pull people out of their shell, which just, is such a compliment to hear. But that's something that I hope I continue to foster and always have and always work on.
I love it. Share with me one other thing you've done consistently, Kïrsten, over the past 3 years, please.
So Chapter B started about 3.5 years ago. So I think that's what I can name as something I've done consistently. It's something that I've really dove right into, and I've been trying to figure out how I grow it. And it might not be that I've been doing the same thing consistently, but I've been thinking about it and working on it and trying to grow it for the last 3.5 years. So I think that's really I've moved in the last 3 years. I've had different types of contract jobs, but that's the one thing that's really remained the same for me. And since I can say that, it speaks to the fact that, it's something that is just driven by pure interest and love. So it's been a lot of hard work, but because it is something that I've consistently worked on, I think that speaks to the fact that it's not something I'm ready to let go of.
How does it make you feel? Chapter B?
It depends on the day. It's like most entrepreneurs and people that are trying to start something up, there's some days where I absolutely love it, and there's other days where it causes me definitely some angst and some confusion. But in doing Chapter B, which is a lot of interviews of people who have created their own thing, I've learned that that's normal. That part of, trying to create your own path in this world is full of peaks and valleys. And the secret sauce is really learning how to weather that and understand that that's normal and that's part of the process. And the more I've understood that, it's been a little bit easier to weather those lower moments. But overall, the fact that it's something that I've been so self-motivated to do, I think speaks volumes.
Love it. Let's switch gears for a bit now. Let me invite you, Kirsten, into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful blue, warm Caribbean water. Tell me, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, wow. Probably my earliest would be when my youngest sister was born. I think I probably have memories before that, but it's the most distinct that I can really, explain at length. But I have a really distinct memory of my parents bringing her home from the hospital and waking up from a nap and coming down and looking at her in her bassinet. And I think, I was a younger sister, so I think I was so very excited to finally be an older sister and be able to experience what that meant.
How old do you think you were?
I was 3.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think because I was so excited about having a younger sibling. And, I was crazy about my older sister, and I wanted to experience what it was like to be an older sister. And I was lucky enough to be able to do that 3 times because I have 3 younger sisters.
Wow.
But yeah, I think it was just such a distinct memory because it was so pivotal, and it was really... I don't think I knew it at 3, but it was going to change my life as I knew it. And I was just really excited to kind of take on that role and have a younger sibling. So, it's a very sweet memory that I have for sure.
Amazing. So you said, you had 1 older sister than you, right?
Yeah, 1 older sister, 3 younger sisters.
Wow, that's amazing. Can I offer an interpretation on that thought picture?
I'd love for you to do that.
It's amazing that you are the person that are helping people get out of the baby stages of communication into the adult, if you may, or the mature stages of conversations through communications. And I've heard that memory communicated before, where people, they feel a sense of lost that, hey, I'm now I'm not only I'm not the only child anymore, right? So, but you you were excited, right? And I mean, you said you did it 3 times over. So it's pretty interesting to me that when we were speaking, you said that people tell you that you help pull people out of the shell. And there's your baby sister in her bassinet, right? And you seem to already take up the gauntlet, if you would, of, hey, I'm the one who is going to be responsible for introducing and teaching you everything I've learned, introduce you to everyone I know, just like the excitement you shared from the beginning. It's pretty impressive.
You know, I've never made that connection, but it's really lovely. Thank you for offering that.
You're welcome. So if we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
When I was 12, I was in middle school, so I'd probably have to say Janet Jackson's Escapade was my favorite song when I was...
Yes, have you been on an escapade?
I don't know if I've been Janet Jackson escapade, but I'd like to be, so...
I think you've been on an escapade in terms of deciding that you want to, connect to your passion with Chapter B and all that is bringing through the escapade of conversations you're having. Not a Janet Jackson type escapade.
In my mind it is, but yeah, no, that's true. I think that's a really great way to look at it, is to look at our adventures as escapades.
Alright, well, we have arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no. Have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to, Kirsten?
Yes, I believe so.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Most days.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Depends on the day.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 hours a day or less than 8 hours a day?
I try to make it less than 8 hours a day. I'm not always successful with that.
Okay. Kirsten, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you. I love what you're doing, and I'm cheering you on in reaching your goal. But the one thing I think I'd like to leave is with Chapter B, what I'm really trying to do is have people shift the question from what do you do to how do you want to be in this world. So I just would encourage your listeners to really think about that and think about just approaching life from their place of be. So identifying how they want to be in this world.
I love it. Oh, thanks for the support. Kïrsten Blake, thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel. I really appreciate it.
Amazing audience. Before you leave, there's one person I'd like to introduce you to, Amanda Jones. She is my wife, and her passion is to educate, encourage, and empower.
Hi, I'm Amanda Jones, and I'm a registered nurse. Do you or someone you know have diabetes? According to the International Diabetes Federation, in 2015 worldwide, 415 million people were living with diabetes. Just as that figure is overwhelming, so too can the effects of diabetes be. So, to help simplify diabetes for both adult and child, I've used rhymes in my books, The ABCs of Diabetes for Children and Poems for Patients, a focus on diabetes. At its simplest, rhymes help us to remember. If you, a child or friend, want an easy, reader-friendly way to know about diabetes, then get a copy of these books. For more details, you can go to poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.